Singapore and all the Southeast Asian countries support Japan playing a bigger role in our region, including on the security front.
A timely reminder that Singapore built its nation on selling out its neighbors to imperialist forces.
We hope the two countries will find ways to resolve these very complex issues and move forward. Southeast Asia has done that with Japan.
Despite what Lawrence Wong says, the tens of millions of people across Asia that were killed via imperialist fascist Japanese forces have not been forgotten. Just in Southeast Asia, the 10 countries of ASEAN, Japan killed an estimated 6 million people.
Including on the security front, because we think that provides for some stability in the region.
Japan currently is very much a vassal state of the US. It holds the most foreign US military personnel in the world with almost 53,000 troops. So to say that Japan is going to bring more security in that region is to say that you want the US military involvement to be increased in that region. And that does kind of make sense from the Singapore PM because of Singapore's historical context, a colonial outpost for the British Empire since 1819, when Stamford Raffles established Singapore as a British colonial port city, which meant that British naval officers could stop by Singapore and have some relaxing and recreation while they refuel their naval ships before they go on into Southeast Asia. So Singapore has a long history of being involved in colonial powers and used by colonial powers. In 1965, when Singapore became independent in the Cold War, it aligned itself with the US anti-communist imperial forces. Maybe the most famous examples of that time would be the Vietnam War. In 1992, the US-Singapore Defense Agreement was signed. In 2004, the Changi Naval Base was officially opened, and this solidified the cooperation between the US and Singapore naval personnel. When Singapore introduced mandatory conscription in 1967, its military troops were trained by the IDF. So this sort of complicity and involvement and entanglement has existed for a really long time. But what about this?
Survey after survey shows that Japan is the #1 trusted great power.
He's talking about the ISEAS, Yusuf Ishak Institute survey, where they surveyed 1,300 people. ASEAN, which is 10 countries, has a population of around 690 million people. And if you look at the demographic of the respondents, they are 33.6% from academia and think tanks, which, as I've discussed before in previous reels, think tanks are one of the tools of US propaganda that upholds imperial interests. Then also 22.9 are government officials, which obviously are going to be parroting official narratives. And then we have civil society, NGOs, media at 18.4%, business and finance at 15.7%. So essentially, it's not at all a reflection of how Southeast Asia generally really think about Japan and US military interference in that region.